Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this lesson is going to be dealing with Deborah and the fact that Deborah was set up to shame Israel. Okay? She was put in the position that she was put in to shame the men of Israel. It wasn't because it was a rightful spot that she should be in. When we get into the kingdom, only the men are going to be ruling. When you read about the 144,000, it's 144,000 men out of each tribe, 12,000 out of each tribe, and those are the rulers under Yahweh Shai. Deborah is not amongst them. Okay? So I'll say it again. That was to shame the men of Israel. Now, it all goes back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter and the 16th verse, to show you that that was not supposed to be. Okay? Now, this is Genesis 3 and 16. It says, this is after Eve was deceived by the serpent. Okay? And she brought it to Adam, and then he took partook of that knowledge. Okay, it says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Okay, so, right, that's why you have those birth pains. Okay, and there's nothing that you could do, no shots that you can take to stop those birth pains. They're going to come because the Most High has put that curse upon you. Okay, and that curse is going to be taken off for our woman in the kingdom. Okay, you're not going to have any birth pains in the kingdom. They're just going to pop out. Okay, like when you go to relieve yourself in the bathroom, it's not going to be any pain whatsoever. It says, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. It says what? Your desire shall be to your husband. What does it mean, your desire? Meaning, well, let's look it up right now. Okay. Because your desire is not supposed to be to your career, to schooling. See, so they have it backwards in this society. Okay, Esau has messed up their mind and taught them a lie. Okay, so guess what? Now we're at the time now where when all hell breaks loose and the society is crumbling, okay, that they're gonna have to show and prove. You understand what I'm saying to you? They're going to have to show and prove that independent spirit. Okay? This is the word for desire. It says, Tasha wa kwa. Tasha wa kwa. Okay? And it says desire, longing, craving. Okay? So what you're supposed to crave is you're supposed to crave to please your husband. That's really what it's supposed to be. Okay? Of man for woman. Of woman for man, and this is what it's speaking of woman for man, because a man's purpose is supposed to be to serve Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It tells you that in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. You know, we're supposed to be on our purpose, okay, and their focus is supposed to be upon us, because that's why the woman was created. She was created for the man. You see, they done forgot what they were here for, man. Esau done made them forget why they were even created, why they even breathing, why they even walking around breathing. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes. It said that Eve was a helpmeet unto Adam, a servant unto Adam. That's what you're here for, to serve the man, the husband. That's the only way you're going to be fulfilled, because the only way you can be fulfilled is if you fulfill your purpose, spiritually speaking. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 13. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So man's duty is to serve Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and the woman's duty is to serve the man. See, us men of the Lord, we're on our duty. We're doing our duty. Okay. Are you doing your duty is the question you women should be asking, not asking about Deborah trying to desire to be a judge. That's one woman that in the whole scriptures that was a judge, and you think that's the standard. That's not the standard. That was only put in place to shame the nation of Israel. She ain't gonna be a judge in the kingdom. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 14. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Okay, and now we're deciphering the good from the evil. Because if you let these women think that seeds of confusion in their head, even dealing with this Deborah thing, what happens is it runs out of control. That's why you got to cut it off from the root. That's why in the time of Xerxes, you had Vashti, which was coming up against the king, which was being out of order. Matter of fact, let's get that in Esther, because the counselors that he had were wise. They gave him wise counsel. Okay, they gave him wise counsel. Okay, now it says right, Queen Vashti's refusal. Okay, which the heathen had queens. We didn't have queens. That's not part of our culture, man. That's part of the heathen culture, man. Okay, the one queen that was in Israel was wicked as all hell. Athaliah, she was wicked as all hell. Okay, and that was not natural. She wasn't supposed to be in that position. That's why they put her ass to death. Okay, this is Esther 1 and 10. It says, on the seventh day. And by the way, a righteous woman doesn't seek that. Wouldn't want to be in that position. A righteous woman doesn't want to be in that position. Okay, she wants to be in her position. Okay, this is Esther 1 and 10. I'm not seeking to be sit on the throne of King David. That's not my position. I'm not seeking to do that. Okay, my position is that the Lord willing, the Lord reward me as one of his servants. That's it. Point blank period. This is Esther 1 and 10. It says, on the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded, man, Salaki, these people banging next door, man, I didn't know it was going to be like this. It says, on the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bistha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abaktha, Zethar, and Carcas, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Yeah, because that's a shame unto him. You ask you tell your wife to come do something, she don't do it. That's a shame unto you. It means you can't control your household. You know they don't respect you. It says, then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that new law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Miris, Marsina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women. Right? Meaning what? That they're going to be influenced by this one act. Because, listen, they're impressionable, man. Just like children, they're very impressionable. That's why they see things on the TV. They believe that's what it's supposed to be. That's why they're still looking for a guy who makes $1 million, 6 feet tall, so on and so forth, because they're not, mind is not based in reality. It's based in fantasy, based on the influences. Okay, that's why they're supposed to be kept in straitly, as the scriptures say. Okay, it says, when it shall be reported the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which had heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. And that's what happens. You get contempt. Which was contempt? Let's look up the word contempt. Okay? Because he say, yeah. Why do I got to do what you say? That's what happens. That's what happened with this whole feminism movement. Okay? Esau created disorder on a high level. Okay, contempt, it says the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. And that's how these women look at us today. Okay, but guess what? That's all going to change around. But see, these little incidences, these little pockets of things they could find, like, which this is the only pocket they could find of Deborah, of a woman being a judge, was Deborah, which, like I said, this was to shame the Israelites. Now I'm going to get another proof, which would be in Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. Okay, because this clearly tells you that this is not a good thing. This is Isaiah 3 and verse 11. It says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. That's not good. Does that sound good, to have children as your oppressors and then women to rule over you? That's not a good thing. Okay? O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy path. So that's showing you that a woman in a rulership position is not good. And that goes back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. That was not their position. Okay? So this is the point. Okay? This is the point. You know, so that what about Deborah? What about Deborah? Deborah, okay, cool. She did what the Lord told her to do, because that was, and guess what? The Barak understood that mission. He didn't have to listen to her. He understood that the Lord was working at that point. He was using her to shame Israel. Okay, this is Judges 4. I'll start at verse 1. It says, and the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead. And the Lord sold them. See, because when you read the book of Judges, it's just Israel going off doing wickedness, and the Lord sending a savior, and Israel going off doing wickedness, and the Lord sending a savior. That's what it's all about. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, for he had 900 chariots of iron. In 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, a prophetess, right, which doesn't mean she was out there prophesying per se. It just means that, you know, she had revelations, dreams, or visions, and so on and so forth. The wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time. Okay, so like I said, this was a shame unto Israel. That's why I had this image up. This is what it was meant to do. Okay, just like the fact we have the Edomites over us. It's not supposed to be like this, but we have them over us. Why? Because it's a shaming. It's to shame us. It's for us to have a confusion of face. It says, and she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in Mount Ephraim. Now that palm tree was the same palm tree that the servant of Rebecca, or the nurse of Rebecca, whose name was Deborah, was buried under, and I believe that's why it's called the palm tree of Deborah. This was another Deborah it's speaking about right here, okay, which was the nurse of Rebecca. It says between Ramah and Bethel in Mount Ephraim, and the children of Israel came up to her for judgment, and she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kiddish Naphtali, and said unto him, Hath not the Lord power of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun? And I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. Okay, that's what the Lord is saying. Okay, and Barak said unto her, If thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. Right. So the reason why he wanted her to go with him, because what he wanted to understand what the Lord wanted, the words of the Lord. He wanted the words of the Lord to be with him. Okay. Because the visions wasn't coming to him, it was coming to her. Okay. I said, now listen to what she said. And she said, I will surely go with thee. And she wasn't fighting in the war. Okay. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For Yahweh shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. There's a reason he wanted it to be into the hand of a woman. And it's not because of feminism. It's to shame the Israelite man. This is what it was for. Okay? It says, and Deborah, and that's why even though he was fighting in the war, he wasn't the one who was going to get the credit. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And it also shows the power of the Lord. It also shows the mighty power of the Lord as well. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up with 10,000 men at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. Now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites, and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zaanaim, which is by Kadesh. And they shewed Sisera that Barak, the son of Noam, was gone up to Mount Tabor. And Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron. Right. And why did those men do that? Because they were the sons of heathen. Right. The father-in-law of Moses was a heathen, was a Midianite. Okay. And Sisera, showing you that the heathen are always going to end up being at odds with Jake eventually. And Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into thine hand. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. Okay, so so the Lord gave her the vision, the understanding that this was the day that he was going to win this battle. And Yahweh discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his host with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the host unto Harosheth of the Gentiles, and all the host of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. Excuse me, Salakia. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. Oh, okay. And he and what? And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk, and gave him drink, and covered him. Again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man doth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man here? That thou shalt say, No. Then Jael, Eber's wife, took a nail of the tent, right, and took a hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temple, right, the side of his head, and fastened it into the ground, right, and for he was fast asleep and weary, so he died. You see that? So the Lord set it up where a woman was the one to put him to death in his sleep. Why? Just so Barak would not get the praise, just so that it would not be of the Israelite man, so it would only be of the woman. That's why he didn't give the vision to men. He gave the vision to a woman. Listen, the Lord gets tired after a while, and sometimes he goes to what you would call extreme measures. And this was an extreme measure that the Lord took here. Okay, so he died, and behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, and Barak was the one that had him scared and running anyway. Barak already subdued him, but now the Lord made it where the woman put him to death, though. Okay, which was the main guy. Jael came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, and I will shew thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temples. So the Most High subdued on the day Jabin, the king of Canaan, before the children of Israel, really the sons of Israel. The sons of Israel is this word. Let's look up this word. It's never children. It's always sons when it says children. Children, you'll see bun. Okay, bun. And really, in this case, it would be bunyam, which would be plural. Okay, the sons of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin, the king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin, king of Canaan. So, that was the point. Okay, the point is that the Lord did that in order to shame the men of Israel. Now, what I want to do real quick, just read a bit of the commentary that I pulled up, because even Esau understands the position, right? This is from Isaiah 3:12, right? Children shall be thy oppressors, and women shall rule over you. Now, when you read here, it says, weak and effeminate rulers, or perhaps he speaks of the wives and concubines of their kings and great men, who by their arts, gaining an ascendancy over their husbands, induce them to act as they desired, right? Though frequently to the people's prejudice, and in a manner of contrary to all the laws. Thus it was in reign of Jehoram, king of Judah, whose wife Athaliah, a cruel and weak woman, okay, which all women are weak. I don't know why he's saying cruel and weak woman as if she was just exceptionally weak. No, she was just not supposed to be in that position. She was wicked. Okay, that's it. Okay, Athaliah, this was the only queen. It says what? A cruel and weak woman occasioned great disorders in the state. Okay, right. So she created disorder in the state. Okay, you could read 2 Chronicles, the 21st chapter and the 22nd chapter dealing with that. Which I'm not going to read that now, but you can go and read that for yourself, man. Okay, so it's showing you that that's not the position that they're supposed to be in. Okay, and then when you go to 1 Corinthians 3. Oh, right. Matter of fact, let's get 1 Corinthians 3. Let's just read it. Let's just read it straight up. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians 1 and verse 14. It says, let your women keep silence in the churches. See, Paul had to straighten out the church of Corinth. Okay, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. Wait a minute, this is in the law? Yes, it's in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, in the 16th verse. That Genesis is also the law. That's why it's known as the 5 books of the law. Okay, Genesis is also the law. And it's said that your desire shall be to thy husband. That is in the law. When you don't do that, you're committing sin. When your desire is to your job, you are sinning. Anyways, with that, Lord's willing, this was edifying to the elect, so you can understand with a sober mind what the time of Deborah was all about. Shalom.